Just kidding. No one else will know your mouth. You can do whatever you like, as long as you put it back so I know how to walk. Thank you. Last one we did was perfect. So everyone went through. It doesn't matter what order, as long as you read it out between you. Just as soon as you came forward, you have to stay really close to those mics. So we'll talk about each image. What I don't want to end up is that us rushing for the last 10. So that last one, just keep it concise and relatively short, but everyone can have a turn.
I have to apologise. I didn't know that we were getting a run through patterns. I haven't seen many of the ones that I talked about.
Oh, that's all good. We did amazing.
Is that a little run through?
Oh yeah,
We didn't know.
Oh, okay.
You did a great job. It is bright. That screen's about 1 stop brighter than what it should be. Hello and welcome to the open category of the New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards. We have 3 great judges that are going to give you some great feedback. You should be able to learn a lot even watching these other 25 amazing images that are in here. The open category is a free range category for any subject and any genre. This category is intended to celebrate photographers who push the boundaries of day-to-day photography and create conceptual or representative works. Photographs can explore a variety of techniques, including in-camera and any post-production treatment, as long as it meets the global rules. As in other categories, the entrant must have created all of the content themselves, and all elements must be photographic. No computer-generated content allowed. If an image includes text, the text must have been photographed by the entrant rather than created in post-production. Now we have 25 finalists here, and they will go through and they've all been awarded until we get to the top 10. These will be in a random order and no placing or score will be given. So congratulations for making the top 25. And we also want to thank Photo Warehouse. They are proud sponsors of the New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards, and we really appreciate that they are here. They have been supporting New Zealand photographers since 1987, operated by real people who know and love cameras. There's 7 stores nationwide and an extensive range of new and used products online. Check it out at photowarehouse.co.nz. Now, if you're in Christchurch and looking for something to do, tonight at 5 o'clock, the category winners will be announced, along with 3 finalists for the New Zealand Amateur Photographer of the Year. We'll also be doing that online for everyone who's at home. And don't forget, if you are in Christchurch, please come down. Not only can you see the amazing images in the exhibition hall from the Iris Professional Photography Awards, there's also free education sessions with Photo Connect. Now, you need to register for these events. These are some of our amazing photographers who are giving their time up so they can help you learn and teach you. This is a great opportunity to pick their brains, so make sure you make the effort, register, and sign up at NZ Photo Show for these free events. And if you're wanting a bit more education, don't forget to check out the NZ Photo Show on Friday and Saturday. It's not too late to get your ticket for a single workshop, 1 day, or the 2-day event. There's a fabulous lineup of workshop-based events. Plus on Sunday, we have a range of masterclasses. So if you're going to do some more in-depth learning, book online at nzphotoshop.co.nz and come and sit, or go and see the crew at the registration desk and they will sort you out. Right, that's enough from me. Let's get on to it.
Behind every camera is a person. Behind every recommendation is someone who actually uses it. That's what makes Photo Warehouse different. We're photographers, filmmakers, birdwatchers, stargazers, gear nerds and storytellers. We've been sharing that passion with Kiwis for generations, filling our shelves with everything from cameras, the coolest little gadgets that make you stop and say, that's actually pretty awesome. With 7 stores across New Zealand. We'd love to meet you. Welcome to Photo Warehouse, your local camera store.
All right, this is the 25th Equal Place. Congratulations, Laura Tate.
What a fantastic photograph that is just exploding out of the frame. I really appreciate the dark background. Gives a lovely vignette feeling without it encroaching on the vibrance of what's within. I think the lighting has been beautifully handled, and there are so many different flowers there, all captured just, you know, to emphasise their delicacy and their beauty. Great colour, great lighting, terrific work.
Congrats, Laura. This is a beautiful vintagey type, so rich in colour. I think when I look at it, it's possibly drawing my eye sort of closer up. There's more colour up the top, and the 2 speckledy flowers below, I then have a wee look at them. But it's a really interesting take on a bouquet. It gives you a feeling. It gives a different life to it. So well done.
Yeah, not much to add, Laura. A beautiful image. I mean, the fact that they've chosen so many subjects in there with all their little personalities, you've allowed the light to illuminate each of them. Perhaps my eyes taking out the bottom a little bit, but really, all in all, a beautiful capture.
Congratulations to this 25th Equal Place image. Congratulations, Helen, and it was awarded a Silver Award.
Well done, Helen. This is really creative, and I love the concept. It takes you to another world. Brilliant job with the shadows on the building. My only thought is perhaps with that harsh light on the building, there's perhaps not as much harsh light on the hills or the water. It's a little bit more flat. But in saying that, it's nice and peaceful and brings your eye back to the main subject. So well done.
Yeah, well done. Also, Helen, lovely that the little statue's leading us into looking at that lovely shape at the architecture on the left, and really, very much enjoying the shadow and the otherworldly sort of feeling exacerbated or sort of reinforced by the sphere in the sky. So nicely thought and presented.
You've composed this so well. I thought it was a real image at first, and I think that just adds to the success of the photograph until I noticed the moon, and then I noticed a few other things that I think actually add to the enjoyment of this as a created landscape. I really appreciate the lighting and as Emma has said, the shadows, and it does have, as Russell has said, that otherworldly it gives you that fantasy feeling. The only critique that I could offer is in the building, the foreground arch, the side that's facing the sun, the construction of that is quite. So it's a plane, and all of the panels are quite uniform, and the cut into it for the shadow is a little unrealistic, but I actually enjoy that. But just something to be aware of that could be addressed if you wanted to. Hope that makes sense.
This image was 24th place, and it was awarded a Silver Award. Congratulations.
Oh, Melanie, once again, the lovely vision that you have presented us with here. I really enjoy the dancing of the light, not only of the finer elements in it, but the lovely warm seed pods, if you like. So they're all dancing around against the dark, which is great. You know, the sense of the concept of ending of life and beginning of life is really well seen and presented also. And I enjoy the directional light source that you've given us. Personally, I think your skill set in this area is above mine, so I'm enjoying what you've done to see what my fellow judges think.
I get a real pathos from this image. The positioning of the aged flower on the right gives an impression of sadness, and I respond to that emotionally, and I think that's quite successful. I appreciate the texture of the foreground. I quite like the muted but textured nature of it. The only thing that I can offer as a potential improvement is the far left dandelion is so close to the edge, and it creates a bit of a tension that I don't think is necessarily warranted, but oh my gosh, that's like, I'm so nitpicking here. It's a really beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, I haven't got much to add. It is a beautiful work, and the lighting and the delicacy of it, and also I almost feel like it's a mother, and she's sort of had all these kids that are sort of going off into the world. You can read a lot story into this, so well done for presenting that. Well, thank you.
Oh, I know that feeling of a mother and their children leaving. I'm not sure I like it. All right, this image got the 23rd place, a silver award. Congratulations, Helen.
Well done, Helen. This is another sort of a different world for us, with bold colours and beautiful reflection in the foreground, and well done with the shadow work. Probably my only word of critique would be the palm tree looks a little maybe unrealistic against the wall there, and maybe just a bit more finessing there would make it feel more in place. But other than that, beautiful work.
Yeah, not much to add. That my eye was also taken by the plant. Seems a bit soft or moving or something like that, a little bit two-dimensional in that environment. So it took my eye a bit, where everything else has been quite considered.
And this image got 22nd place and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
What a creative piece. You've made what I think would probably ordinarily be quite an ordinary photograph into something that is really quite fascinating. I'm a huge fan of MC Escher, and I'm getting that kind of Escher-esque feel. It feels very drawn rather than a photograph, and I'm really appreciating that texture and that quality of it. The overlapping forms give you a dimensionality. There's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to explore. I guess in terms of critique, the only thing that I could suggest is that there's a contrast in the shape from the centre through to the right that is not echoed in the top left and bottom left, and it unbalances it somewhat, but I think that could just be a personal response to that, so it's just something to be aware of, and if you like it like that, then I have no critique to offer.
Yeah, this is super creative and artistic, and I pretty much haven't got too much to add, but other than just with all those leading lines, my eye is brought to that centre light piece, and just sort of, there's sort of nothing of great interest there, and then your eye wanders around. But yeah, super creative, well done.
Yeah, I think, Noelle, you've been pretty clever here. As Emma's mentioned, those leading lines take you to a place, but, we're only humans and we react to things differently, and I kind of like how you've unbalanced that, to be honest. There's power in the shape that you've created, almost like a horse head, if I could say that, but that, the shape I'm talking about, and I really enjoy your placement of that in that frame and all those lines flying around. I mean, you've gone to a lot of effort to preconceive this and then deliver, and I think you should be congratulated. Well done.
This image was 21st place and got a silver award. Congratulations, Julia.
Well done, Julia. This is very ethereal and soft and beautiful tones, and gives you a otherworldly type feel to it. Yeah, beautiful soft feel with the smoke, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, something is sort of abstract and creative and kind of, I almost wonder if you knew what was going to happen in the end and rejoiced in the result that you created. But it's almost like out of an Avatar movie or something like that. So I can't critique it in any way negatively. It's a lovely, gorgeous tone and colour range. I am enjoying myself. Yeah, it's beautiful.
The colours really are a strength, I think, in this photograph, and the way that they're blending into each other while retaining their own qualities. It's very beautiful to witness. It's got beautiful delicacy, while at the same time having that really watery feel. If I were to offer one piece of feedback, and that would be that where the I'll call them ribbons, if that makes sense, where the ribbons come down to the base, there's just the second from the right, there's just a little bit of agitation at the base that I think could have been cropped out and made it a stronger image, but it's a very, very minor thing. So I think this is beautifully handled, very ethereal. You've got the detail, you've got the softness, really successful.
This image was 20th place and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
How clever to create a landscape, an aerial landscape like this. You can see the mirroring, but the mirroring is really enjoyable, and your eye moves around with that path at the outside, and then moves around with the paths in the centre, and they're not perfectly. So there's a lot of elements that make it feel, in a good way, not perfectly symmetrical, and those elements are making it so much more enjoyable than what you would expect from a mirroring image. So I think it's been hugely successful in the mirroring that you've done. The textural quality of that those trees from the top really impacts. It gives it such a feeling of depth, which is so hard to achieve in an aerial situation, and the glowingness of that box in the centre really kind of draws you in and creates boundaries for you to explore. I think this is hugely successful. Well done, Keegan.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that it's just so well handled and created, and the thought going into this. You've made sort of a very almost kaleidoscope feel on the aerial. Very clever, well done.
Yeah, great effort, Keegan. I'm just noticing things. I mean, you know, we don't get a long time to look at these things, but as the longer you look, you see, and that sort of organic symmetry that you've got going on there, marrying nature with that sort of surreal treatment you've given it is a good imagination and beautifully delivered. Well done.
Yes, to be honest, the judges have been standing there talking about it, and I haven't taken my eyes off it, just staring at it, looking at different things. So congratulations and well done. This image was 18th equal, and it was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
Well done, Laura. This is beautiful bouquet presentation here. The colours are rich, and it almost gives a vintage or sort of old painterly feel, definitely with that background is really added to it, and the book, I'm guessing it's books that it's on top of it. It's really gives a lot of strength to it, and the lighting just so clever. Well done.
Yeah, it's an old world sort of feel to it. It's got a depth to it. The lighting is not too much. You've let it sort of just draw us in there. Really, there's you can sort of see detail and yet not. So rather than overlight it, you've kind of lit it just right, if not a little bit under, and it's just beautiful for that reason. It draws us into it. I think your choice of background as well is excellent for what you've done here.
Yeah, and similarly, the understatedness of the colours really blend this photograph together beautifully, so you just get such a cohesive feel. I'm really enjoying the inclusion of the background, which gives it a very unique and different kind of feeling to compare it to a lot of flower photos that have a very static dark background, I'm really enjoying the depth that has created with that landscape in the background. And yeah, I think it's been very successful. I guess if I'm offering any critique at all, and it's so minimal, there is a flower at the bottom left that's quite bright that I'm getting stuck on, and the leaf coming in on the left, again, it's preventing my eye from moving more freely around the image, but I have to emphasise that it is so minor.
Oh my goodness. And this is 18th equal place and was awarded a silver award. And I quite like squirrels.
Well done, Carol. This is very clever. You've done really well with their hands and holding the teapot and the composition and the obviously different layers. My only critique, because I got to see this in prejudging, is where you've got the leaves meeting the squirrel's legs. It's a different focal depth or focus. So just when you're compositing, just be really careful that everything is shot on the same f-stop. Other than that, it's so clever. It's really believable. My only little thing is with the teapot, there's a shadow on the front of the teapot, which I'm not sure where that shadow's coming from, because you've got beautiful soft light everywhere else, but really enjoying it. Well done.
I think we're all just sitting here smiling, and that is, in this level of photography, that's just an added bonus and an extra layer of enjoyment, is that we're actually enjoying looking at this. And those the festive garlands across the top, I just think is so clever. I think having a tea party is clever enough, but the way that you've lit those leaves and chestnut shell and whatever else is up there, that the attention to detail with that and the lighting of those has been hugely successful. They do appear like, festoons or lights across the top, and it just gives it such a beautiful party atmosphere. I guess the only comment that I would make for improvement is there's a couple of spots, both in the foreground and in the middle ground, that are a little bright, and that just remember that the bright areas grab our eyes forcefully. So there's a couple of areas that are quite bright that if they were just a little bit dulled down, wouldn't grab our eyes so forcefully. But it's just delightful.
Really enjoying the intricate sort of dainty lighting you've got bouncing off the cups and saucers and things. The only thing I might improve, would suggest, is that under the squirrel's arms pouring the tea is a very light sort of flower or something that just takes my eye. It's mirrored in the shape there, but nonetheless I feel that if that was gone, it would allow us to flow left to right, reading that story beautifully without being distracted, really.
And this image got 17th place and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
Adrian, well done, mate. Beautiful. Well, I assume it's mate. It's a beautiful image. Just instantly, my reaction is that the little pier at the end of the jetty, touching the shape of the mountain in the background, would have been nice if that was just a little bit clear of that shape, so it could be its own self, if you like, without necessarily touching the background. But other than that, for me, beautiful.
I always love looking at star photos that really show us the glory of the night sky in a way that allows us to appreciate the difference between us and that. And I think you've really captured that wonderment that we feel when we're out under the night sky, and for that, like, that emotional response is quite strong. I think that the oval that you've created with the shape of the Milky Way and the shape of the lake in the foreground works really well to give a boundary or a frame to that jetty and to the distant hill and the vegetation in the background. And I do think that line across the horizon line there, is just really well placed. In terms of improvement, I'm aware that we're looking at a screen that's quite bright, so I'm not sure what whether this will be relevant to you on your computer screen, but there's a couple of man-made things in the foreground on the left and on the right that are quite bright and are drawing my eye away from the beauty of that circular frame. And so if you were to darken them down so that they're not noticeable, I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, well done. I haven't got too much to add other than I'm really enjoying the reflection in the water as well. Well done.
This image was 16th place and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations, Pauline.
Well done, Pauline. This is another sort of ethereal, vintagey with the colours and the textures, and it's almost like obviously it'd be a beautiful print, but you'd feel it could almost be in repetition and be a beautiful wallpaper. It's got that pattern feel vibe about it, and the placement and the lighting is just so well done, and the richness of the colours. Well done.
You've really brought out the beauty in flowers that I don't think are at their perfection peak, and I think that is really difficult and very much enjoyable to be able to look at these blooms that are, not the most perfect, in really appreciating the colour palette, those rich burgundies and the browns and the golds, that all works really harmoniously. In terms of improvement, I just think the bottom left, there's a little bit of brightness. It's very minor, but it is there, and it's drawing the eye unnecessarily. So apart from that, I think this is you've really achieved what I think that you set out to achieve, in that you're celebrating something that's normally overlooked.
Yeah, quite interested in how you've let parts of flowers disappear out of the frame. It's almost like you've captured a bit of a part of a greater tableau, and so for that I think that's quite brave, because often my mind needs a hero to attach to, but you've sort of made a lot of heroes in this image and allowed us to wander around it. The tone of it and the lighting falling off everything is beautiful, so well done.
This image got 15th place and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
Well done, Melinda. This is a beautiful, soft image, and it almost feels like these two are in a dance or a partnership together. Beautiful softness around them. I'm obviously drawn to the wee light taper or smoke stream, whatever's coming from the one on the left. And I'm not sure if the right one's missing out a bit, but he's got a lovely bit over the right-hand side. So it's just the more time you look at this is enjoyable, and you can read a story into it. The composition is lovely, and well done.
Yeah, I think, Melinda, you've been pretty brave here. I mean, you've captured something really quite amazing in the first instance, and then to introduce those elements that are sort of cascading or dripping, falling gently off them is quite an interesting introduction to something that is otherwise pretty beautiful in its own right. So well done for that. It makes us think when we look at it.
Yeah, and the longer I'm sitting and looking at it, the more I'm seeing and appreciating. It's almost like it's a choreographed dance, and the centres of the flowers are actually characters. The one on the bottom right is almost like a maternal, like a mother on a raft with, a special, what do you call it? A special cargo that she's protecting. I see the blossom bit as a face, and then the arms are cradling, and that's kind of mirrored in the one above. But I guess what I'm saying is there's so much to enjoy with this, and you enjoy it more as you're looking, and that's a special quality to be presenting us with. Congratulations, Melinda.
And this image got 14th place and a silver award. Congratulations again, Pauline.
Well done, Pauline. This is, again, that lovely vintagey, rich tones, and the placement, obviously all intentional, the texture. It all gives us layers and interest and intrigue to go and look at and spend time in this image. yeah, there is the place in the middle, which you've obviously left on purpose. So yeah, very interesting and brave composition. Well done.
Yeah, I can mirror that. Normally with flowers and things like that, we tend to want to bring them all together and create intensity by collectiveness, but you've actually chosen to do exactly the opposite in this image, and I think that's to be really rewarded. And obviously your high placing suggests that. It's quite intriguing to see flowers displayed this way, but also Emma's use of the word old worldly really comes through here, and I'm really enjoying looking at it.
And this image got 11th equal place and was a silver award. And the judges have jumped up and had a closer look.
The repetition but difference is, I think, a real strength of this image. I've really enjoyed the colour palette with those rich burgundies and the reds and the golds and the yellows. That limited colour palette works so well here. And that centre, the choice of having something more organic and less structured in the centre, I think is a really excellent choice. The circles on the outside are quite, they're perfectly symmetrical, and yet that centre one is not. And it gives it an energy that really lifts it. They're very creative. You've crafted them beautifully. The detail is excellent. Fantastic work.
I also find interesting the fact that the energy coming from them is disparate, really. The brightest one obviously in the middle band, but just the fact that the energy coming from the two bands above and below are different to each other is really quite interesting introduction too. So it makes our minds work, makes our eyes entertained, and you've created some beautiful shapes here.
The only critique, because that's kind of why we're here, I'm looking for things to give you as feedback. The only thing that I could suggest is the way that you've positioned those circles. We've got a bright one in the centre at the top. We've got bright across all three in the centre, but then at the bottom we've got two brights on the left and a darker one on the right. I would consider making the one on the right the brighter one, just to give it a little bit more balance, to really emphasise the difference of that one in the centre, and make the rest of it quite balanced. That's the only thing that I could suggest.
Thank you, judges. This image was 11th equal and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations, Michael.
Well done, Michael. This is a beautiful painterly type soft fluid capture of this seagull, and you've made it just really painterly, which is different. And the movement with the wings and the grasses and the colour tones, the choice of colour tones is beautiful. If I was looking for anything, maybe to improve this, and it may be our screen, is just the highlight on the seagull's neck and tail look quite light on this screen, but other than that, beautiful.
Yeah, great effort, Michael. I mean, just the choice of, the seagull has my first thoughts were sort of murderous intent, if you like. It's definitely zeroed in on something that's a target for it, and then to marry that sort of intent with the softness and gentility of how you've presented it to us is really quite a neat marriage, I believe. I'm a little bit confused about what is below the seagull and what sort of softness has created that shape. I think it's its tail, obviously, perhaps, I'm not sure, flapping around, but otherwise, really, really cool. And the eye is drawn definitely to its beak and its eye, which is great.
Yeah, and I think it's quite clever to be able to have an attacking creature portrayed so beautifully and delicately and still be successful and not competing with itself. So I think that's quite difficult to achieve. There's only one thing that I'm noticing, and that's in the grasses at the bottom left. There is a circular shape, I guess about a third of the way up. So just, maybe a bit a bit under the horizon, there's a circular shape and there's another one at the bottom in the centre that don't seem to have a place there. They're very, very hard to spot, but I am noticing them, So yeah, just if you were able to remove them, I think that would be a little bit, tiny little bit improvement.
Yeah, I don't normally like seagulls, but I quite like that one.
Yes, it's a very good one.
And this is also 11th place and a silver award. Congratulations.
Well done, Sharon. This is beautifully presented and so masterfully lit. And it gives life to these three individuals which are past their prime, but it's almost like they're talking or dancing or having some relationship with each other, and I think that's really successful. And the way you've presented it with the light behind, it's very clean and very intentional. Well done.
I think the choice of your placement is really to be admired as well. The two individuals on each end just aid and support the one in the middle so well. So I really quite enjoy the one on the right, sort of almost prancing horse dancing back towards one in the middle. So just the fact that it's just clear cut like that is also quite illuminating of these images. Beautiful.
And so evocative. I've seen ballerinas who are in their 90s who are still performing, and it just makes me think of that because, you know, the skirts, the gesture of all of these, we're definitely seeing characters here, and to create that, to present that to us in such a beautiful way with such a clean background, and just to enjoy the aged beauty of these characters. It's hugely successful. Congratulations on your silver.
All right, we're up to our top 10. Our top 10 will be revealed in a random order, and no score or award will be shown. Judges will give constructive feedback to each entrant, and the top 3 placings will be revealed at the winners' announcements from 5 p.m. tonight. Rankings of the top 10 will be posted on our social media channels tomorrow. And another thank you to Photo Warehouse for being our sponsor for the New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards this year again. We really appreciate your help and bringing this amazing photography for us to see. It is at such a high standard. I think some of it could even be entered into the Iris Awards without too much problem. And here we go. Are we ready for the first one? Congratulations for making it to the top 10, Harold.
What an exciting architectural shot. I think the colours have been carefully chosen. The way that the photographer has warped the shapes is really fascinating and complementary. The reflection of the right building on the left, I think, is really successful. The clean background to give it a really otherworldly feel, with that graduation of the deep orange on the right to the lighter orange on the left. It allows the shape to really shine in the space that it's been given. I'm not sure that I have... okay, I'll be really nitpicky. There's a purple shape in the reflection on the left building that the colour isn't mirrored elsewhere, and I always find that it's helpful to not introduce a new colour in one particular area, but it is tiny and you might not even see what I'm talking about, so I'm being very, very nitpicky. It's a very successful image. Congratulations.
Yeah, I've got nothing to be picky about. It's a great way to represent. I mean, straight lines are efficient and cost effective, but really our eye likes curves and organic sort of feelings. And you've given something that is normally straight and true a lovely sort of interpretation, if you like. And the little bits you've introduced here and there, to me, work really well. Love the little highlight in the middle of the right character, and it just very beautifully thought out and very cleverly created, so no critique from me.
So crass. It's such a good craft here, and the way you've presented it. I've sort of got no more to add than it's already been said because it's so well done. My only thing is the one on the right sort of in the greens in the centre, there seems to be some sort of blur or bleed from the black line into that green square. And just on the left-hand side of some of the orange and greens right in the middle strip, they just seem a little painterly when others are so clean. But other than that, this is outstanding work. Well done.
And also into our top 10 finalists is Julia. Congratulations.
Julia, love this. This is just so peaceful, and the lighting and the subject is delightful. And I think he's got a wee insect in his beak, I think, from previous looking at this. The background, clouds, the colour tone, the palettes, and all the shadowing on this to make it all one is beautiful. Well done.
What I'm enjoying most is the fantastical nature of it and what you've chosen to represent in a pictorial manner versus what you've chosen to represent in a fantastical manner, I think are spot on. So I'm really enjoying the detail in the grasses. I'm loving the sea urchins, the texture and the three-dimensional quality just works so well, and the detail in the bird, but the way that the ocean blends into the sky gives it that fantastical quality, and I think that's been really masterfully done. I would normally want there to be a delineation between the ocean and the sky, but I actually think you've done this so successfully, and it just gives it an otherworldly feel, and you know, the scale, the contradictory scale, that just gives it a place. It gives it a reason to be so odd, but it's just fabulous. It's just making me happy.
Yeah, awesome, Julia. Just an exercise in fantastic detail, backed up by softness, really. So softness everywhere, decided by you. I also enjoy the fact that the clouds, the pinkness in the background are sort of columns either side. That gives it a constant separation up through the middle. So well done, beautiful.
And this is another top 10 finalist that has made it into our open category. Congratulations.
Well done, Nolene. Gosh, the skill and the concept in this is beautifully articulate, and the way it's been presented with the colour tones and the choices, it's really masterful. My only thought when I look at it just as a symmetry thing, the second and the third from the right, so the middle and the second from the right are fairly similar, and maybe if you switch out so you have the different one in the middle, the one on the second from the left, would just, in my mind, make more sense. But you've obviously done it intentionally for a reason. I'm just not sure why. But super, well done.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The very thing Emma's mentioned is what I enjoy the most. The fact that you've obviously decided to do that gives it an asymmetry and a kind of a challenge to what we want order to be. And you've definitely put them kind of out of order, if we could call it that. So really, really well done. I like that you've stuffed around with our minds a little bit there visually and emotionally. Well done.
The dimensionality of these shapes is fabulous. So the shadowing of those external, I want to say furry bits, that it really creates a dimensionality that works so well. These shapes are fantastical, and yet we get a sense of their presence, their size, their weight. The lighting, I think, has certainly contributed to that. I really enjoy the glow from the centre of those shapes. And yeah, I appreciate all the differences. I'm really enjoying the differences. This is really beautifully crafted.
And moving on to our next top 10 finalist. Congratulations. Well done.
Well done, Helen. This is a beautiful otherworldly type image. You're almost waiting for a Greek god to appear in this one. Beautifully done with the lines and the shadows and the reflection in the water. yeah, I'm just enjoying it. Well done.
Also, Helen, well done. I can't help but say, though, that there's a little bit of tension in my sort of thoughts with the cloud intruding into the left-hand aperture there, those two little bits of cloud, and for some reason or other, the tension of the main cloud in the middle just about touching the right. Obviously, everything's been put in here thoughtfully by you, but that's just the emotional effect it has on me. But it's quite beautiful to look at overall.
And just going back to what we've said before, what your the tension that's created is something that I'm actually really enjoying. So I've seen storm clouds like that, and they're so impressive, and so the presence that they have, that gives this photo so much energy. The rest of the photograph is quite static, and so that cloud is just drawing you in and creating a really fantastic energy. In terms of making suggestions for improvement, I'll use your word aperture, or the arches just to the left and right of the centre arch, the shape at the very top doesn't seem very realistic, and that's the only thing that I can offer as a suggestion, is to make that a more uniform curve to give it a more realistic appearance. But this is a great fantasy image.
Actually, Helen, I'm going to take back my comment about the cloud, because the two little bits that are coming out on the left there actually give a tail to the main body in the centre. Without that, perhaps it would have been a little bit artificial. So now that I've got longer to look at it, I take that back. Although the tone of the water at the bottom of that could have been matching the one in the middle.
All right, great feedback there. And moving on to the next finalist, congratulations and well done. I'm just going to be staring at this image.
Yes. Tristan, this is so clever, this image. When I first saw it, when I was prejudging it from a distance, it almost looks like a flower, and you're drawn into that, the centre. And then you go in and you see all these different images, and each individual image is so well handled and crafted and captured that it could be strong in its own. So the way you've presented it, it sort of gives this petal or feel from the centre, and with the smoke in the middle, and there's 4 boxes with a wee white line around them just add to the graphic nature that this has been presented, and the tones are brilliant. Well done.
It's almost like a firework, and you know, it just makes me think danger and excitement, like danger in a good way, and excitement and energy. And I think that the choice of the grey background is absolutely spot on, because it gives it a depth, and it emphasises the darker areas while the plain silhouettes have retained their dominance. So I think that's been so well handled. The positioning is just brilliant.
Mate, I just love everything aviation personally, and something you've done here, which is all the planes are basically flying out of the frames, and so that gives it a real sort of floral kind of feeling to the whole thing. And man, for you to turn up to something like this and to come away with this creation is absolutely to be commended, mate. This is one of the cleverest things I've ever seen, actually.
And I hope all these people that are getting these critique in the image are printing your images and putting them on a wall and not sitting on your computer.
Mate,
all right.
Stick this on the wall in the aviation, wherever you were photographing this, mate, you make sure they see it.
And this image also makes us into our top 10 finalists. Congratulations.
Oh, one of the best fighter planes ever designed, even though it's from Orange Man country, but never mind. Spitfire's beautiful, but these are equally so and faster. And you've created that dynamic, the propeller, the clouds blurred, giving an indication of speed, the stillness of the pilot. Love the light hitting the leading edge of the wings. You've placed it quite nicely too, just right of centre, so it's going somewhere as opposed to going out of. Really well done, mate, and the tones are awesome.
Yeah, so well done. I really enjoyed the light on the pilot's face, which, I mean, must be so hard to capture in this sort of thing, but that's so well done. My only thing is I thought the highlight on the propeller was a little bit dominant compared with the rest of the image, but it's, as Russell was saying, it's there to show the speed and everything, so yeah, brilliant, well done.
And going on to our next top 10 finalist, congratulations and well done.
What a lovely fantasy. You've crafted something that, could only come from someone's mind. It really gives you an image to explore, and you've expressed yourself through this in a way that is just unlike anyone else's. So the uniqueness of this photograph, I think, is really a strength. The way that you've handled the reflections, given that it is a created image, I think is really sophisticated. I think that reflections are just really difficult to manage, and I really like the way that the light is on the ripples around the swan, and the way that the light is catching the ripples throughout the image on the water is lovely. In terms of critique, the only thing that I would offer is the swan in the foreground. The lighting doesn't quite match the rest of the image, and perhaps a little bit of post-production to make it look less like you've put it there. I don't know what the words are, you probably know better, Emma, but that would be the only thing that I offer.
Yeah, it's just the light direction and the quality of the light, I think, on the swan. Is that what you're seeing, coming from the right? And it's a fairly harsh light with the shadow on the right side of the swan's neck, whereas when you look at the bright tree, orange tree, it looks more like the light is hitting that from the left. Is that yeah? So yeah, just a small thing that can be easily changed. But I love the fine art feel of this and the colours. Yeah, I really enjoyed this image. So maybe always look at light direction and the quality of the light when you're compositing.
Isn't it a funny thing? All those things are what I enjoy, really, because obviously, I mean, it's a stunningly beautiful image, Helena, so well done. The intensity of the light landing on the main subject works for me, because to me it's like it's paddled into a source of light, if you like, lifting it out of that background to allow it to really shine and be the hero. I love the tail of of the wake, if you like, going out of the frame. Just gives us a feeling of the swan moving across the frame. I personally enjoy the intensity of that light. So once again, we might be judges, but we are human and we do react to things differently. So spectacularly beautiful image, Helena.
And the next top 10 has made it, and congratulations to Liz.
The choice of the monochromatic presentation of this photograph is very clever, because this is a photograph about texture, shape, form, and what the monochromatic presentation has done is allowed us to focus on that. The lighting, the uniformity, they strengthen this image and allow us to really appreciate just the detail. I think it's been really beautifully put together.
I just wanted to commend Liz on the delicate handling of the light. It's just so I mean, it's something, a strong building, but there's a delicacy about it, but the way it's been presented, and the craft that you've done. Well done.
You're in the top 10 there, Liz, because you've achieved exactly what you set out to achieve. I just enjoy also that triumvirate of the darkness of the door in the middle at the bottom, and then at the top right of each of those little minarets there. Spectacular detail.
And the next one to our top 10 finalists, congratulations to Wendy.
I've tried to do this, and you really need very special conditions to be able to create something like this. So not only have you succeeded in creating something beautiful, but the conditions required to actually make it happen, you've made use of that also. I really am enjoying the texture on the ice bubble, and it's almost like you've got feathers that have brushed the surface, and for, I mean, we're talking less than a millimetre of surface tension. Like it's really beautiful. The colours that you have in all of the icicles, I think, are really beautiful. If I were looking for improvement, look, it's very minor, but I'm finding the light on the rock that the crystal is, the ice bubble is resting on, to be a little incongruent, so it doesn't fit in as well. So I would probably be positioning myself slightly to the right to get those crystals to block it out a little bit. And there's a little bit of noise, but apart from that, I think, I mean, the level of difficulty, I think, kind of, has certainly, yeah.
Well done, Wendy. Gosh, I don't know what goes into creating this. It's not something I know, but when I look at it, I just love the icicles and sort of the harsh, spiky nature of them, and then this very delicate bubble that looks like it could break at any moment. There's obviously super craft involved in this, and really enjoying it.
Yeah, great, Wendy. As mentioned, I think also for me, the heat of that light bouncing off the rock kind of takes my eye away from what is I call the hero. I think moving would have changed the shape of what it's coming out of, so just knock that back a little bit and you've got yourself a great image. Well, it already is a great image, but greater.
It requires playing in the cold, which is why. I haven't done that yet.
What is it?
It's hoarfrost, is it?
I'm a Jaffa, we don't get
So
that.
you make a soap bubble, but it freezes because you're in minus temperatures.
Can you say that into the mic? So
Sorry, for those who are not aware of what we're looking at, you can create a solution of soap that is more likely to do this, but you go out, you create a soap bubble, and because of the minus temperatures, the ice freezes. Watching it is beautiful. It just kind of creates a structure around the surface of the bubble that looks like glass.
in other words, you have to play out in the cold. And the next one of our top 10 finalists, congratulations again, Helen. The judges are just soaking this in and having a really good look. Some of them have got up and had a closer look.
And we're all smiling. The fantastical nature of this is a strength for sure. That the flying contraption of the face with all of the bits and pieces, as you know, the hero, the element of difference, that certainly draws the eye. The modelling of the construction of the building, I think, has been well done. I would comment that the potted plant on the left-hand side, the fall off of the light is quite dramatic and a little bit incongruent, and it's a the whole idea of this is that it's fantasy and fantastical, but I think we all appreciate the fantasy more when it's grounded in reality, and just that stark line delineating the light from the dark, it draws undue attention to itself, but it just makes me smile.
That's interesting because, I think it's close to perfection, really. That light source you're talking about, I mean, that is close. That is the closest to the energy of that light source, so it's going to be more dramatic that much closer. I mean, the light's fallen away further in, and to be honest with you, looking at those two urns, I think she's treated that really, really well to give a difference there. If there was a similarity, I think it would have taken away from that ratio of energy from the left to the right. The little flying contraption presented in the upper archway is just gives the whole thing a fantasy, really, and it was beautiful without that, and it's beautiful with it. So awesome, Helen.
Yeah, Helen, congratulations. I mean, you're a master in reflections and shadows, and even like with the water source and the colour toning, that you've handled that so well. Yeah, just big congratulations. You're obviously highly skilled in this, and we're really enjoying seeing your images.
And those were our top 25 and our top 10. So check back at 5 p.m. for the winner announcements. And another massive, huge thank you to our sponsor, Photo Warehouse.